Bitcoin has already tasted the $31,000 level. Ethereum skyrocketed to $2,000 after the Shanghai update, and it is believed that the altcoin season has been launched. Elon Musk, unexpectedly for himself, arranged an Aptos cryptocurrency pump. Now let's analyze the main events of the crypto world together. Arthur Hayes is the former head of the BitMEX crypto exchange, the subject of many memes about how everyone will be shaved and a current prisoner who is serving time for violating anti-money laundering rules under house arrest. He officially announced the season of altcoins. He did it with a tweet with the price of the top two cryptocurrency Ethereum, which just reached $2,100. Let's check this statement and first of all look at the Altcoin Season Index, which shows only 14 points, which actually means Bitcoin season. That is, the first cryptocurrency is now growing faster than altcoins. It is important to understand that this index is a lagging indicator, and when all coins will start to fly up, it will be too late to jump into the outgoing train. Will they just start? Because you need to take into account both the prerequisites for which Arthur made this statement and the current phase of the cryptocurrency market. See, Ethereum successfully passed through the Shanghai hard fork on the 13th of April, after which it began to catch up with Bitcoin, which has noticeably pulled ahead in price growth over the past week. This was not quite standard behavior for the market, because usually cryptocurrencies rise before the update, and after the event itself, a correction of 10% or more occurs. The fact that Ethereum, on the contrary, grew by 10% after the hard fork can be explained by the nature of a particular update, and its main task was to open a withdrawal from tracking. And indeed, many feared that after this event, millions of Ethereum coins would immediately be withdrawn from the protocol and sold on the market. But this is how we see it did not happen. According to statistics, in about a day after the update, only 240,000 coins of Ether were withdrawn, and 100,000 coins were added in their place in staking, all in the withdrawal queue now worth more than 1 million coins. But this is also not a critical value, because the output is gradual. About 700,000 coins belong to the Kraken crypto exchange, which promised to close the staking service under an agreement with SEC. And in total, more than 17 million coins are stored on the Ether deposit contract. In total, now it becomes clear that the dump does not threaten the Ether. So the market began to reach its price to the level that corresponds to the current Bitcoin rate, which in turn led to a sharp increase in the share of Ether in the market and a decrease in this indicator for Bitcoin. Such a redistribution of shares really happens during the season of altcoins. But for now, we are dealing with a single case, not a long-term trend. As for the phase of the crypto market, now it most of all resembles an early bull market, when Bitcoin is ahead of altcoins as the most reliable asset. Most of all, it looks like the spring of 2019. And here you need to understand that during such a growth, neither Bitcoin nor most altcoins update the maximum price, and also that at the end of these phases, a strong correction of 30% or more is possible. Therefore, altcoins will now grow, but this is not an alt season, just a market reaction to an increase in the price of Bitcoin. What is happening now with the first cryptocurrency will be discussed in the next part of the video. Now I will ask you to put a like so that you get the maximum likes and more people can find out about what is happening. Today, Bitcoin reached a price of $31,000, which we have not seen for a very long time. It is important to understand that while we do not have an influx of new customers, and it is still very far from the beginning of the price increase. Thus, while the main trend for the growth of Bitcoin is set by factors in the macroeconomics and is determined by the behavior of financial markets. Important U.S. inflation data was released this week. Interestingly, the decline is observed both in consumer and producer inflation. And most importantly, in both cases, the decline in inflation was below the forecast, which is a very bullish signal for the stock market, together with him for the first cryptocurrency. The minutes of the previous Fed meeting were also published, from which we learned important information about the current position of the regulator, from the main one, This is a high probability of a recession in the United States at the end of this year, confidence in the stability of the banking system, another rate increase is planned at the next meeting in May, as well as the expectation of a final victory over inflation next year. Stocks react to such news with growth, because the market believes that the Fed will break its word and carry out at least 2 rate cuts before the end of the year. But this growth is rather restrained, especially in Bitcoin, for 3 reasons. In May, we will have another rate hike with a probability of more than 60%. Inflation may slow down the rate of decline due to last year's high base, or maybe return to growth due to rising oil prices, and it is still not clear how good everything is American banks actually. Investors want to see this for themselves and are waiting for quarterly reports from leading banks. If all concerns are removed, then Bitcoin can continue to recover to $35,000, maybe up to $40,000. I will follow what is happening in our Telegram channel. Subscribe via the link immediately below the video, and then I will tell you some more important news. The reason for the FTX token pump was the information in the media that the exchange has restored assets by $7.3 billion and will probably be restarted in the second quarter of this year, which is important to understand from this news. The first is that the restart of FTX is just one of the options, and it's too early to talk about whether it will actually talk. The second is that back in January, the exchange had assets worth $2 billion and now more than $7 billion. But in fact, they did not find the cryptocurrency. They simply revalued the assets due to the growth of Bitcoin and other coins. That is, the exchange has more dollars in theory. But there are only cryptocurrencies left, and in fact, there is still nothing to return funds to users. Let me remind you that the losses from the FTX scam were estimated at $12 billion. The next news concerns Justin Sun. He received a subpoena from the SEC on charges of illegal trading in Tron, which the regulator considers a security. This is a civil action, and while it is not about the arrest of Justin Sun, besides, he is now in Hong Kong, but he must contact the SEC within 21 days and decide how he will testify. And if Justin does not make contact, then more stringent measures of influence can be applied to him. And let's finish with the news about Pampa Aptos, which was arranged by Elon Musk. It's a strange story because Elon Musk tweeted Aptos. The price went up 8%, then the tweet was deleted and the price went down. He explained his actions by saying that the artificial intelligence, which was also mentioned in the tweet, understood what was being said. We can only guess what new entertainment Elon Musk came up with for himself. If you are trying to trade his signal, and you know that now he can delete tweets and the price immediately drops, do not fall